Hello, everyone. We're here with Mark Lewis.
Hi, everybody.
Mark, how are you?
No, I'm nearly dead, but apart from that, I'm all right. I think I'm okay.
You're still surviving the COVID summer?
Oh, don't. The novelty's wearing off with that. I think it's very nice, but it's not something I want to do. Make a habit of.
I think you and everyone else wants to get back to work, don't
Oh,
they?
it's horrible.
Yeah.
But what can you do? I think I'm getting a psychic vibe. Around about the middle of next year, it'll start. We won't have to worry about quite so much.
Next year? I was hoping this month.
I was hoping it would be a few weeks ago, but my psychic vibes are a bit off. It's still going on. But anyway, these things are sent to triers, and it's it's a terrible thing, but it'll pass. And I think once there's a vaccine, I think things will be a lot better. Middle of next year is when I think it's going to be a bit easier. Yeah.
Well, you heard it here first. Mark,
sorry?
You heard it here first.
Yes,
Mark is predicting middle of next year.
Middle of next year, everything will be hunky-dory and everybody will be happy and dancing in the streets.
Excellent. So, Mark, you've been doing this for quite a long time. How long have you been in the business?
1987, so I don't know, how long is that? That's oh my God. That's 33. I'm getting old. That's 33 years ago. Is that 33 years ago? I think it is. Something like that.
Yeah, quite a long time.
I had hair when I started. I don't quite know what happened to it, but I've been doing it a long time.
Yeah. Now, I heard you started off in Ireland.
I did.
Yeah,
I did it in Dublin. I started off actually, I suppose Birmingham in England is where I really started off because I used to sell magic tricks. I'm a professional magician as well as a psychic. I do card tricks and magic. And I sold these trick decks of cards, all different exhibitions everywhere. So one day I went to a psychic fair to sell these cards in Birmingham, in England. And then I saw all these psychics and people doing this stuff. And I got very interested and I started to study it. And I learned a lot about it. And when I got back to Ireland, I kind of studied it more. And I started doing readings in Ireland very cautiously. I did it for nothing, just my friends. I studied palmistry, and I found that incredibly accurate. Palmistry is more of a character analysis. It tells a little bit about the future in a general sense. Tarot cards are more powerful, more intuitive, more psychic thing. But so I started off with the palm reading, and then I started doing it. I did it by mail order. They didn't have to chop their hands off. They'd make a photocopy of their hands and send me the print. Yeah. And I was able to send them a tape, a cassette tape in those days. And it was pretty accurate, and it's still accurate because every hand is different. Palmistry is fascinating. I believe in it. It shows things that it's just, even I don't know how it works. I don't know why it works. I think I know why the tarot cards work, but I don't know how the palm works, but it works. Well, what can I tell you? Yeah. So.
You've told me you've had some interesting readings.
Oh, yeah.
What's one of the ones that kind of stand out?
Well, readings are private, so I don't want to say, but I'll give you a little example from 30 years ago. I had a few strange ones when I first started. When I first started is when I got all the strange ones coming. I didn't know how to handle them at the time. I wasn't very good. So one guy I do a reading for, and he seems happy, but there was something not quite. It wasn't. I got a feeling he wasn't telling me something, but I didn't know what it was. He seemed happy enough with the reading, so I showed. I had to go downstairs to show him. How to open. We had a problem with the door at the time, so I had to come downstairs with him to open the door to let him out. So just as I'm opening the door, he says, "Oh, I've just got a question to ask you." He says, "One question." I thought, well, now we're going to find out what's really on his mind. I said, "Yeah, what is it?" He says, "Can people read my mind?" I said, "No." I said, "I can't read your mind. No psychic can actually read your mind." I said, "I can't read your mind." I said, "Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. I always thought people could read my mind. I was worried about it." I said, "I can promise you nobody can read your mind." And then he went away happy, so that was okay. Then another one that happened in Ireland right about the time, a lady comes in to me, and there was a child missing in Ireland at the time who I think murdered. I don't know. I think either that there was a body or the child had been murdered or was missing. I don't know. It was in all the newspapers. So a lady comes in. She says, "I'm psychic." She says. I said, "Oh, right." I said. She says, "I wonder if," and I'll tell you what I think. I know who did. I know who killed the baby. I said, "Well," I said, I don't know myself. Who was it?" She says, "The mother killed the baby." I said, "Well," I said, "I don't know." She said, "Can you confirm whether that's right or wrong?" I said, "I don't really know." I said, "You might be right, but you might be wrong." So that covered both eventualities, you know. So she was happy with it, 100% right. So then she said, "I've been to the police." Because I said, "You should really let the police handle that." "Oh, I've been to the police," she says, "and I told them." Right? I said, "Oh, what did they say?" She said they'd get back to me. I said, "Well, wait till they contact you." So I remember that one. And the other one I did was a more serious one. The Michael Jackson, the pop star, came to Ireland.
Oh, yeah.
And the newspapers called me up and said, "Would you do it?" Because I was quite well known in Ireland at that time. Very few people were doing what I was doing. So the press called me up and said, "Could you do a reading for Michael Jackson?" So I did. I did an astrological reading.
Okay.
I had a little machine. I'm not an astrologer. I used to write astrology columns for the Irish newspapers, but I wasn't really an astrologer. I had a little machine which worked it out for me. Tapped in the numbers and his date of birth and everything. And I got this big full-page article in the Irish newspapers, telling me, you know, how accurate it was with Michael Jackson, blah, 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 blah. And real astrologers would phone me up and say, "Well," he said, "that's amazing. Your insight on astrology is incredible." But I'm not an astrologer, but I got away with it. I'm a bit more experienced now. I've got better. In the old days, I wasn't that good, but
Okay.
I got better as the years went by, you know.
So are you still selling your magic tricks?
Yeah, I actually do sell the magic tricks. I sell them at the psychic fairs and at your events because it gives me an excuse. First of all, most of the readers will have maybe just one or two people in front of them talking to them. With me, I get maybe 5 or 6 people watching instead of just 1 or 2. I could get more, but it would be too much of a commotion. But I get maybe 3 or 4 or 5 people watching, and they're laughing. Now, they might not want to buy the pack of cards, but while they're there, they're getting used to my personality. They think, "This guy's a bit of fun. He's not too serious." And they see all the newspaper articles which I've got on the booth and the comment book. They read the comments. And I make them laugh. I say, "Well, look, you have a look at the comments. I was up all night writing them, so at least have a look at them." So they find this funny, and they get amused by it. And then, but once they sit down for reading, then it's a serious thing,
Right.
because they have problems, and so they become more serious. But this brings them in, and it gives me a chance. I'll say, "Try this pack of cards in your own hands." I'll say, "Oh, let me look at your hand for a second, right?" And then it gives me an excuse to reel off a 15-second reading of their hand. And they think, "Oh my God, he's right. He's accurate." So they often sign up for a reading because I've done a quick reading on their palm for a few seconds, because it's usually pretty accurate. So yeah, I still sell the magic cards.
Okay.
Good
So,
fun.
so you're saying you still do the tarot card readings?
Oh yeah, do the okay. The cards I should explain. The magic cards I demonstrate and sell is like a magician's pack of cards, a trick deck of cards.
Right.
But when people sit down for a reading, I don't use those trick cards. I'm using the tarot cards.
Yeah.
Tarot cards are very powerful. I think I know how it works. It's a bit too, it's too complicated to explain probably right now, but I believe 100% of the tarot cards. There's a strong intuitive side to it. And it sort of tells the future, but a bit like a weather forecast. A weather forecaster would say, "It looks like it's going to rain next week," and it usually does. But sometimes a weather forecaster can get it wrong. I can get it wrong too. But it's usually, I would say, 70-80% accurate when I do it. Nobody can be 100% accurate. I always say if a psychic advertiser is 99% accurate, I wouldn't go near them, you know, because nobody can be 99% accurate.
Right.
And, you've got to watch some of not the ones in the psychic fairs, but a lot of the psychics outside the fairs. There's a lot of crooks, a lot of charlatans in the business. You can tell by how they advertise. They'll say things like reunites lost lovers, or they'll say things like 99% accurate, or the word black magic or if you see that curses or black magic in the advertising, don't go near the place. And the way, and they'll never give you they will never allow you to record the reading. They won't give you a tape. They won't allow you to record it on your phone because so it's a lot of but they don't come into psychic fairs. They're weeded out. They don't. You never see them.
Yeah.
And when they do manage to sneak in, they don't do very well. But when business is bad, they sell their grandchildren. But
or they don't last too long.
they don't last too long. So. But it's a fascinating business, and there's a strong spiritual element to it, I believe. And it gives me a chance to help people.
Okay. Well, now that we are not having shows at the moment,
Right.
You've been doing readings through email, phone?
Yeah.
How are you
Which
doing?
is ironic because I'm not very. I was born in the year of the dinosaur. I'm not very good with technology, but this has been working extremely well for me, especially during the pandemic. What people do is they send me any 3 questions they want to know the answer to. Now, when I'm doing a face-to-face reading, I don't need their questions. I kind of know through the card, but when it's not face-to-face, this is the only way I can do it. So send me any 3 questions they want to know the answer to, a photograph of themselves, which they send by email, plus their date of birth for numerology purposes. Then I will send them within 24 hours a 30-minute sound reading on a sound file. I don't know what it's called, MP4 or MP3, MP something or other, and I send them that, and it's had. Actually, the readings are more accurate than they would be when I'm seeing them face to face, because I'm concentrating. I'm not distracted by any noise or any distractions, and just concentrate on the reading, and I pick up their vibes from the picture of the person, and I've had very good feedback from doing those. So that's what I've been doing during the pandemic, so that I don't have to leave the house. They don't have to leave the house. It's very convenient. The other thing I'm doing in the last, I also do readings up at a flea market in Mississauga, which it's been closed for months, but they've finally opened up again, so I'm allowed to go back. And I don't have to worry about social distancing there because nobody's in the place. It's empty.
Naturally social
It's the oldest
distance.
flea market in Toronto, in the Greater Toronto area, but it's also the quietest. That's a fantastic flea market. I'm not sure how fantastic it is, but it is fantastic if you're a person walking around looking at everything. And I'm there at the weekends, every Saturday and Sunday, doing heavily discounted readings face to face. So if you live in Mississauga or you want to take a trip up there, I would do the readings much, much cheaper there than I do anywhere else because it's such a quiet market and my overheads are so low and I'm bored out of my mind. So if somebody has a reading, it's a big event for me during the day. It keeps me awake. So that's what's happening there.
Excellent. Okay. How else can we get a hold of you?
Right. Well, I'll give you my phone number is 4. I've got a website too. My phone number is 416-927-7446. You can leave a message and I'll call you back if I'm not there. I don't have a cell phone. I don't understand things like that. I also have a website which I managed to put together myself by some miracle. I don't know how I was able to do it. It's not a wonderful website, but considering I'm not used to that. www.marklewispsychic.com marklewispsychic.com, and on there it'll give you the details of my prices and all the different types of readings that I do. I do readings also in town at the Toronto Healing Arts Centre, although I don't even know if they're open anymore with this pandemic. I haven't done a reading down there for months, but what happens is that if somebody wants a reading, I call up the Healing Arts Centre, they give me space, and I go down there and do a reading. I haven't done any while the pandemic's been there. The only live readings I've done so far while the pandemic's been on is up at the flea market in the last 3 or 4 weeks. I have I've got masks available and also hand sanitizer. So that's what I've been doing there.
Okay. Well, we'll put all your contact details
Right.
on the website. So if people want to get a hold of you,
Sure.
they know where to find you.
Yeah,
So, Mark, thank you so much for your time.
very welcome, sir.
I know. Although it's COVID, it's still great to see you. Hopefully, we can all meet in person very soon.
Well, hopefully when because you've got another show coming up, but maybe that will be cancelled too. I don't know.
We'll
We'll leave it. Next year, it'll all be flying. We'll all be
It's all gonna
dancing
be
in the
good.
street. Okay.
Excellent. Again, thank you for your
You're
time.
very welcome. Thanks very much, everybody. Bye-bye now.